everybody, welcome back to another Craft Break Live. My name is Emma Panuski. I'm a content creator here at Plaid, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this really cute rustic sign for fall using some of our brand new Mod Podge printable patterns. So we've talked a little bit about our printable patterns before. They're a really great resource to use. They are all free and available for you to download on plaidonline.com. Stephen is with us in the studio today, so if you have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and let us know, and Stephen can relay those questions over to me or answer them himself. And he is going to go ahead and put the link for that downloadable library in the comment section for you guys to use. There's a ton of really great designs and fonts and patterns for you to choose from. We have Halloween-inspired ones, fall ones, Christmas. We're starting our Christmas crafting a little early this year, and some great evergreen ones for you to choose from as well. They're really simple to use. I'm going to walk you through how to use one today. All you have to do is print it out at your regular printer at home, cut the decal out to how you want it, and then go ahead and use your favorite Mod Podge to adhere it to your surface. So let's go ahead and get started with our Bless This Home sign. So I'm going to be teaching you guys lots of really cool techniques in this demo today. I'm going to show you guys how to stain some wood with some acrylic paint and water. It's super simple, and it'll be one of your new favorite techniques once we're done with it. Then I'm going to show you how to distress your sign, and then lastly, of course, how to utilize our printable pattern library. So without further ado, the colors that we're going to be using today are Folk Art Matte Terracotta and Folk Art Matte Pure Black. So to start with our faux stain, you're going to want just like a little plastic cup, water cup, or bowl, something disposable that you can, a good vessel for water and paint that you don't mind getting dirty. So I went ahead and put a little bit of water in here. And now we're going to mix some paint with it. So the ratio that we're looking for is about 1 part water to 1 part paint. And then you can kind of finagle with it and see if it's the consistency that you like. I'm going to take just a regular flat brush and then mix this together until it's well incorporated.
I always love projects that have like stains. Those are always fun to do.
Yeah, it keeps the integrity of the wood. It takes that really nice wood grain. This one is really pretty. It has these pretty knots in the wood. It keeps the integrity of the wood, but you can add a little bit of flair to it. Okay, so once your paint and your water are well incorporated, so it's going to be pretty runny. It's honestly kind of the similar consistency of what you would expect to see in a stain that you would buy at like the hardware store. So it looks like this. So it's covering the sides of our cup, but it's still running down. You can see that. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and brush it on. Give it a nice generous coating. And so when I do this technique, I like to work in sections. So what I mean by that is I want to brush on our faux stain and then take just a regular paper towel or a rag that you don't mind getting dirty, and then just kind of rubbing it off a little bit. And that way we're working in sections and we're not allowing the paint to dry or seep into the wood too much where we can't remove some of that color, just like you would a traditional stain. So we're going to keep doing that same process.
Emma, if you didn't have this color, is there a color that you would suggest maybe trying that you think would look good with the pattern?
Yeah, absolutely. So this pattern has some really beautiful dark browns and bright oranges, but the great thing about this technique is you could really use any type of folk art matte color to make a stain with. So any of our folk art colors would look great. Any kind of rusty orange or even dark brown would look really pretty with this. Even like a dark olivey green would be really pretty. Yeah. Yeah.
also really love the technique that you're doing now, rubbing the paint away to kind of get it like the more thinned out.
Yeah.
Even though we've already thinned it with the water, it just adds a little extra, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, pizzazz.
Yeah, there we go.
Totally. The great thing that you will notice that happens when you rub some of that excess stain off is that some of the naturally lighter spots of the wood come through a little bit more. Like you can see this area and this area. Before that was kind of covered, but when we take our paper towel or our rag to remove some of that excess faux stain, then you really start to see some of that pretty light wood.
Do you think that this is the kind of project that maybe like some faux weathering would look good on?
Yes, absolutely, Stephen. And we're kind of do a little bit of that. You're getting ahead of us, Stephen.
Oh, sorry, jumping the gun.
I know. But absolutely, I think for sure it would. So we're almost done. You can see just how quick that is. And another great thing about this technique is that you don't have to work in a well-ventilated area to make this faux stain happen. If you were working with a traditional wood stain, it's toxic, it's kind of fumey, so you would have to find a space where you would feel comfortable using it and not breathing it all in. One more thing, and we're done. Look how beautiful that is. It really transforms just from the back of it to the front.
Seriously.
It looks really beautiful and rustic and very autumnal.
It almost looks like a totally different type of wood.
Yeah, definitely like a more cherry wood or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is That is step one of weathering our wooden palette today, Stephen. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys how to do is we're going to do a little faux distressing technique, and all you're going to need is some folk art paint and a little block of wood. So the great thing about this is maybe if you are a carpenter or you know somebody that is, you have little scraps of wood laying around, little cubes like this, that would work great for this. But if you're not, you can just go to your local craft store and they sell these little cubes of wood in their like wood section. So that's what I did. I just went to the craft store. I played it easy.
The wood block seems ideal, but I think we've also used like cardboard before.
Yeah, you can use cardboard. Really, that's a great point, Stephen. There's a lot of different ways to achieve this technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a paper towel onto my crafting table here so you guys can get a good peek. So I'm going to dip my little wood cube on one side into my black paint. I'm going to offload it, and that really just means I'm going to remove most of that paint because we don't want too much, and then I'm going to offload it a little bit more just by tapping it onto a paper towel. And now I'm going to drag my cube with the paint side all along the rim of my palette. And just applying a little bit more paint if you need it. Really, we don't want a ton of paint on our cube because we won't achieve the same look. So barely any paint. And you guys can practice with maybe a scrap piece of wood and see what looks good to you, because you can always put more paint on, but you can't take paint off. So we're going to do that there. And so now this part's a little bit trickier, but you just have to pay a little bit more attention. We're going to go in between these slats of wood, and we're going to rub our cube up against those slats. Flip it over and do it on the other side. Okay, so now we can add a little bit more of a distressing accent to any areas of the palette that you would like to. So when I do this, I like to think of if this piece of wood really was sitting outside and being distressed, I like to think of what would happen naturally and what areas of our piece would actually have some distressing going on. So definitely the outside, we worked on that. Definitely where the wood breaks. So we're going to focus on those areas and just put a little bit more distressing accents in those areas. So same thing as before, I'm just dragging my block across the wood in those areas. Getting these corners because maybe it got dinged up a little bit. And the corners are where it's going to get dinged up because those are the outside areas that are protruding.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like, you know, obviously we don't want to have too much on there. We don't want it to just look like it's painted, but it does make sense that some places would be more weathered than others too.
Yeah. Okay, so I am pleased with that. That looks pretty distressed. So now I'm going to set this aside, and before we break out our Mod Podge, I'm actually going to go ahead and take my blow dryer and just give this a good once over so that it's really nice and dry for our next step. Okay, so once your wood palette is nice and dry, we're going to set this aside. I'm going to show you one of the new patterns in our Mod Podge printable library. So this is of course what we used in our fall sign. That's what we're going to use again today. But I really do encourage you guys to just take a look at our new Mod Podge printable library. We have lots of great decals and alphabets and really cool sign inspired designs for you guys to choose from. Like I said, we have really great seasonal content as well as some more neutral evergreen content. So Stephen has listed the link for that down below. It's all free, so make sure to go ahead and check that out. So I just printed this on a normal printer that you probably have at home, regular printer paper, and now I'm going to cut out this little sign.
Since this is basically just a square, I think it makes sense to use scissors, but if you were going to try to cut out the word blessed just below it, you can see it's all like handwritten and stuff. I think I would be using an X-Acto knife or something like that just to make it a little easier for me.
You could definitely use an X-Acto knife, Stephen. That's a great point. Whatever you are comfortable with.
Because I am not the most accurate with a pair of scissors. I don't like how you save the corners for last too.
Saving the best for last.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, super, super simple. So I already went ahead and actually cut out a few more designs to add to our sign today. I cut out these super sweet little pumpkins, so we can also arrange these onto our sign. Oh, and I had some leaves that fell. Something like that.
That's
really
why they call
cute.
them fall leaves, right?
Steven. But that's a good one.
Thank you.
He'll be here all week. Okay, so bringing back our sign. Today I'm going to be using some Mod Podge matte, but you could use whatever Mod Podge you prefer. You could use matte, satin, gloss. This would be a really fun project to put on your front door, and if you wanted to do that, then you could go ahead and use some Mod Podge outdoor. That would make it weather safe, so that's a really great option too. So I'm going to take a normal flat brush, and I'm going to flip my little decal over, and I'm going to apply a thin layer of Mod Podge onto the back. Make sure you get all of the corners, all of the areas. Okay, once you've gone ahead and done that, we're going to bring our palette back and just very gently going to kind of hover above it and place it down in the center. I'm going to start, since this is kind of a bigger piece, I'm going to start from the center and use my fingers and push out from the center. That way, no air bubbles get trapped under our paper. If we were to have our hand loosely here and we're just kind of like smoothing wherever we want to, then we would run the risk of getting a lot of bubbles under our piece of paper. So that's a neat little tip. Start from the center and brush out.
I was going to say that is a good tip.
Yeah. You could also use like a brayer or a squeegee too, whatever kind of Mod Podge tools that you have at home if you want. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with these little pumpkins. Apply some Mod Podge to the back of them. I accidentally set my printer settings to print on both sides, so that's a little sneak peek of something else that comes in the same PDF that you will see if you go ahead and check out this pattern, but yours might not look like that on the back. Okay, just taking my fingers, smooth it out. And we'll put that guy right there. How cute is that?
Looks great.
Really, really cute. And that took us like 20 minutes to make a full fall sign for your autumn decor. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed following along with me today. Make sure to print out, make sure to check out and print out, I guess, our Mod Podge printable library on plaidonline.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For more project ideas and inspiration, you can always check out plaidonline.com. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.